Welcome to Seven Trumpets Prepper, and guys, welcome to another edition of the Hard Truth Show. Tonight, I'm pretty sure I'm going to set conservatives ablaze, liberals ablaze, and people that are libertarian like myself are probably going to be unfazed by the comments I make outside of if they're not a person of deep faith. And what I mean by that is I want to go ahead and just set a premise that's going to be different than most people analyzing this situation. Is one, this country is under judgment by the Most High, y'all. Whether you want to agree with that statement or not, it's totally your prerogative. Secondly, we are living in the last days. This whole Babylonian system, spiritual Babylon, this second beast of Revelation, America that we live in, that I view as the second beast of Revelation, it's on its spiraling downfall. We're also at a point in time where authoritarianism is absolutely on the rise. And we can see that what I told people 8 days prior to election, that Trump would be elected, authoritarianism, would be here, which is fascism. I said fascism, would come, and that all the terrible things that would follow. And I'm just actually shocked at the speed in which it's being delivered. Outside of that, I'm not shocked that these things are happening. I feel bad for the people it's happening to. Today on this stream, we're going to be talking about what happened to Alex Pretti. And I want to make sure and just lay a few things out real quick, is that I've already pulled together the stuff that people say that, his crisis actor, has participated in debaucherous activities of cross-dressing and things like that, and all these little side missions. I went ahead and got all that together to drop that off at people's feet at the first for the court of public opinion, so that we could actually move on to the substance and the meat of the matter, which is, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. I don't care if you're libertarian. I don't care if you don't have an opinion. What I need you to understand and see is that we're headed toward nationalistic fascism. And what I mean by that, okay, is if you look at Exhibit A for tonight on the menu, okay, you can see right here that this is a man being executed on the left in Nazi Germany under the Reich. And you can see here today, ICE executing said person on the right in modern day times in America. And so what I want to point out is that we're spiraling out of control. We're headed to the point that I want to make tonight is that you have to understand that your First Amendment and your Second Amendment rights are under critical attack, massive attack. This is, like the statements that's made by people of authority and etc. This is just absolute fascism, authoritarianism, and this is the stuff that we dealt with before the American Revolution. I mean, you got to understand that we're to the point where people that are red hatters, MAGA, are even taking an attack on the Second Amendment now, calling for everything from gun control to you name it. And I've got all sorts of crazy stuff put together to go over tonight. But real quickly, if you guys haven't joined me over on Patreon, please do so. Hundreds of you guys have come over to support. I really appreciate you. If the link isn't in the video description below, please go over to Patreon, Seven Trumpets Prepper on Patreon. Please help support me over there, because YouTube doesn't allow like any financial support really here on this channel at all anymore for content creation and stuff. So those that want to support the content creation of me, and in the future when probably this platform won't allow me to be here even anymore, you can catch me over there. So please join me on Patreon. And to everybody that supports me over there, love all of you. Seriously, bottom of my heart. It's really been helpful. Real quick, let's hit the comments. Shalom from North Carolina, Ohio. Man, let's see. Chances are he had his firearm on him to actually more than likely defend himself from other protests. You got to think he wasn't going to shoot nobody. Oh, no, guys. Oh, and that's a great, that's actually a great starting point, is right here. Is it? Or here? Yeah. So 8 days ago, I believe it was 5 days ago. It might be 8 days ago now. I'm not sure. It might be 7 between whenever this was grabbed. Sorry, I've been collecting stuff to share this with you. But there was a picture of that particular SIG on a Reddit post, and they apparently were using that Reddit post picture to say that that was the gunman's gun. And it was actually a copy of Reddit post. If you actually go and look and search the exact matches, which was being shown here in this TikTok. Actually a friend of mine on Facebook, Devora, shared this person's TikTok. So shout out to her. I caught that today and shared that one. But let me see here. I'm trying to see where we probably should segue into this best. So I have my notes pulled up, and I just want to hit a few notes here real quick. I think a great segue into this is that just a little over a year, less than a year ago now. Yeah, I think it was about this time a year ago that I went to survey a job in North Carolina and take a roller wheel and mark off so that the Department of Water, septic people, and all that could make sure that we were in line with our electrical layouts, because we'd actually got the permits pulled and everything to work out of state. And it was a lot of work, because you got a lot of licensing issues, permits, all this crap. So anyways, we get approved by the state to do it, and the county and all that. So to go work in the state. So I'm driving over, and this state officer, law enforcement officer, passes me. Don't think none of it. I'm driving the speed limit, not bothering anybody. Me and my son's just yakking it up because you're stuck in a vehicle for like freaking 5 hours to where was it? We even worked over there, Raleigh. Yeah, Raleigh, North Carolina. So we're stuck in this vehicle for 5 hours almost, and we're driving, and then we pass the guy, and then he passes us again finally, and then he slows down like this weird creeperish slow down, and he gets behind us, and he blue lights me, pulls me over. He walks up, and I'm like, "Officer, is there a problem?" He goes, "Well, I can't see the county on your tag." And I'm like, "Sir, it's a custom Tennessee tag. There is no county markers on custom Tennessee state plates. That's just what they do." So that turned into, I obviously showed him I had concealed carry permit, so disarmed, peacefully, dealt with him. And then that turned into haggling me about reciprocals for the state. I had to give him an education on reciprocal, de-escalate that. Then he checks my VIN number to make sure it's not a stolen vehicle, which is crazy. This is just nuts. 2 guys in construction shirts, nothing in a vehicle except a roll wheel going to a job site. This gets weirder as it goes. He then has me to go out of the vehicle, takes me back there. I didn't put my jacket on because I thought, this is just, he's giving me a warning, a ticket or something, and sending me on my way. Well, then that turned into his buddy pulling up and then coming up and being right up in my grill, like, I don't know, trying to punk me out or something. And so I stand there for a while, and I finally am freezing cold. I shove my hands in my pockets, kind of lean forward, because I'm like, it's freezing outside. And he's like, "Please don't put your hands in your pockets." I'm like, "Well, my man, my jacket's in the car. And, a reasonable stop is supposed to be, a short amount of time unless there's reasonable suspicion or a crime has been committed. Somebody should be let go." He finally, after I had give him a talking to, he decides to print a warning ticket that for my license for I forget what the crap was marked on it. It was equipment fixtures or something on the vehicle was off. And so he sends me on my way, and him and the other guy stand there looking at me like they've lost their puppy. Like, it's weird, man. The whole experience was just demonic and creepy and weird. And when I got to my customer's house, she has people that are Latino, Hispanic, work there, and great people, loved working with them. Me and her were just talking about if my melanin was a little bit different, or I was a so-called marked as a black man, wonder how that experience would have went that day. It'd probably been even worse. And I've just noticed that over time, the policing of the United States has become very authoritarian, very militarized, especially since 9/11, of course, and the TSA to go with that. Now, with Trump's second term, it has become the Gestapo, and you have ICE out here, running the streets and executing and murdering people. I mean, literally. And, the thing is this guy worked as a medical professional, had no criminal history, was a licensed firearm holder. I mean, for crying out loud, the woman pushed down that he helped up gave testimony that he was literally trying to assist her. That's out there now. And, there's this thing where I would just go ahead and go on record and say cowards wear masks. When I see people robbing a bank and they're in a mask, that's pretty cowardly. When I see people kicking in your door and you don't even know who they are, and then they murder people and then they're not held accountable for it, and you can't even figure out what's going on, and you don't even know if they're law enforcement officials, that's pretty cowardly, I would say. All the men and women of law enforcement that I do respect, which one of them being my neighbor over here that was a former canine officer, I seen him and looked him straight in the eye and have known him my whole life pretty much, and a very respectable man. And it's just like, I see law enforcement I can respect, and then I see the Gestapo, the SS, the literal Nazi SS. And people, will be like, I don't know how it happened in Germany. And I'm like, you really? You don't? Because like, I'm seeing it happen right here in the United States, a copy of it. Am I the only one that has eyes to see? Because like, MAGA people are literally like, cannot deal with what I've been saying. And liberals are just absolutely in terror right now. And libertarians like myself are sitting over here like, wow, like, did this just flashpoint? Because I think it just flashpointed. So I guess before I play some videos and then we go on the heart of this thing, because I'm going to tell you straight up, this man was murdered. I don't care if it was a crisis act. I don't care if the dude had some weird sexual orientation stuff going on, or he was a so-called Jew, or whatever you want to label the guy. The context of what happened in that video that day and how all that played out is all that matters to me, because it could have been you or me, homie. That's all that matters, folks. And the reason I'm taking the time to even discuss this is because you need to understand the tone that is being said, the paradigm that we're in, and that everything I told you all these years, for like 15 years, that this is what's coming. This is what's going to happen to America. It's going to become a dystopian technocracy, and just absolutely overreaching. This is where we're at. Like, this is crazy. All right. So let's pull up a few slides. Let's do the slides first, right? So right here we see that, the picture of him filming, and we see that lady got knocked down, and him trying to help her up, and then the pepper spray and all that. And then we see right here one of the ICE agents, which is not very clearly marked in my opinion. This looks like a thug, is walking off with his pistol, which, by the way, guys, SIG has a way of discharging too. And, I think when the officer took the firearm, that may have discharged. And that's also why that they went to shooting him, because they didn't know that, he had, some of them probably didn't know he had a firearm on him. So there's that part too. So, I'm not trying to be critical of firearm manufacturers, but SIG, I don't own SIG pistols. I just don't. I don't. And so, I like I said, the picture that's supposed to be in where he had multiple magazines. And listen, there's nothing wrong with having multiple magazines for a pistol on you. Furthermore, to me, I don't care if you drive an Abrams tank down the street. I'm a 2A guy to the core, and a First Amendment right. Listen, if you want to look me in the face and tell me I'm a dirtbag, guess what? You can tell me I'm a dirtbag, but like, the First Amendment is very critical, and the second, guys, because when we lose these, the ship is lost. I promise you. It's just a matter of time at that point. Let me see. Oh, we got one in the house already. Somebody says you an a-hole, dude. Gotcha. Right here, ICE agents have 47 days of training and 50% failed an open book test. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So anyway, like I said, I've already upset some people at 16 minutes, but they're going to get a lot more upset as we go here, because well, hey, good for you. Thank you for your service. But today, we're going to talk about those that don't know how to perform their job. And I'm sure that you probably didn't hear the experience that I just told you about whenever I had my exchange with the officer in North Carolina, and I was completely in the right about my rights. Oh, I'm totally wrong. Okay, well, that's cool, man. We'll just go ahead and put you in park. Listen, guys, let me tell you something. Whenever you deal with police, I've had a lot of toxic experiences through the years. It is important you understand your rights. I cannot overly state that. I'll tell you, people that have actually been sons and daughters of law enforcement officers that have told you to make sure, they've told their children to make sure to know their rights. It is very important to know and exercise your rights. Okay. So I'll just make sure to explain that. So let's stay on point. So today, what we're watching is this go on. So people that like are a very critical thinker is like me, like that dude right there, that August Landmaster, and the rest of these people that are going nuts in comment sections and, you know, just back the administration and shut up and do what you're, you know, told. That's pretty much what you see the rest of these people example of in 1936, because I want to show you that history's replaying itself. And it's been said, like I pointed out, that apparently this guy's died twice. This is a crisis actor. Like I said, I just want to go ahead and air all this laundry out so that we can actually talk about the focal point, because, you know, lots of people's not covering this ground. It was also brought up about that, you know, the gender issues, and that this guy was sexual orientation issues. And there's actually another guy apparently that people's confusing up with this guy, and it's not the same. I made sure to go do a back check on that, because I have seen some stuff and some things people posted on IG. Apparently, before the guy joined the Veterans Administration, he did some research that was so helpful to cancer that it's published in medical journalism today. So that was cool. And this is interesting. The guy that, this guy right here in the picture, okay, so Greg Bovino, just so I can point this out also, in the interview, I don't have it here, but he's actually making the hand gesture on his right leg of the white power symbolism. So I really, at the core, think this guy might also be a racist, but that's a side mission. I just wanted to go ahead and point out that my views of watching him and his mannerisms, I think he is probably a very racist individual. But moving forward, it says here, today Greg Bovino openly said that we are never learning the identity of Alex Pretti's murderer, because that would be doxing. Now, keep in mind, said murderer, right? He says he has already gotten the agent out of Minnesota's jurisdiction. He put him back on the job. He is part of an extensive open criminal cover-up. Naming someone is not doxing. They aren't undercover. They aren't intelligence agents overseas. This is outrageous. We're supposed to be a free republic, and these people want authoritarian police state. Lawsuits should be filed, and ranking Dems and Commerce must act. You can see this obvious from a liberal post, and I'm just sharing a bunch of different things. I've got like one more slide, and then we're going to see some video. Says the secret police are hiding the identity of the murderer, total consequence free, impunity to kill citizens, no rule of law, no investigation, Trump's authoritarian police state, unreal. Now, I think I also have the clip of him talking, unless it's already been taken down, where pretty much, you know, if you carry a firearm and you're out in the streets, you're a criminal. Just so you know, if you exercise your Second Amendment right, you're a criminal and a dirtbag. Lastly, this is who many people went bread and butter and elected. When I told people that literally what he's saying and doing now would come to pass, said it before he was ever elected, said he would be elected, told people straight up, could have been my character assassinated, but literally was correct, no doubt about it. And this right here, he literally said he had a gun. Only criminals carry guns on our streets. Now, keep that in mind. The sitting sovereign president of the United States of America just said, you're a criminal if you carry a firearm on streets. So I have a concealed carry permit. I have worked as a range safety officer for years at a shooting range. I have concealed carry. I have open carry. I have carried in my vehicle. And I have never been in trouble with the law, criminal charges, anything. But now keep in mind, I've also worked and have the certificate on the wall, trained from FEMA and emergency service work. And but I'm a criminal because I choose to protect my family. Then now everyone has the right to protest. Now, that's a great point. I actually have to bring this guy on again. That's a great point. He was not hindering them to doing their jobs. And this is all starting to air out. It's great. I actually am so glad that people's reacted so early, especially people in power, because it's making people look like a bunch of idiots now, because the laundry's starting to air out. So without further ado, let me cue up the first video here. And get it ready. Sorry, guys, just 1 second. Oh, sorry, one last thing right here. One last thing. I want to screen share this article right here. if I can get it. So says here that U.S. Border Patrol Commander, let me make sure this is visible on the screen. Good. Yes, it is. Okay. Says here that he'll be expected to leave Minneapolis soon, and President Trump said that they're working on a way to scale down this situation and stuff, and you know, that they're going to try to take care of it. But you know, this is the second person that was killed. Okay. And this is the points that, you know, the CBS News, I really appreciate that, as bad, as liberal as the news is and stuff, that for once, I think it, but it's because it's benefiting them. They are actually semi-honest about the things they said. And this is one of the most important things right here, is that Pretti was a lawful gun owner with a permit to carry. He had no criminal record. Okay. And obviously he was holding the phone. And he actually helped the woman up. I mean, like I said, that's on record now, that the woman testimony is that, you know, that he helped her up. So, you know, and you can see that they both get assaulted at that point. So let me bring up the actual video that I want, one of the videos I want to play now. I believe this is the interview. No, hold on. Here we go. So here is one that I thought was a good breakdown, showing this, and let me pull it right here. Fair use. Here we go. Now, keep in mind, can everybody still hear me good, by the way? Just want to make sure okay, yeah, the audio is still streaming good. So so you know, you can see that he was filming, which I know that people don't like to hear this, but people have every right to film in an open place. Now, keep in mind too, the licensing process too for carrying a firearm in the particular state that he's in. Also, you know, there's duty to inform and duty. You don't have, some places you don't have a duty to inform officers if you're carrying. Some places you do have a duty to inform, and other places you're only required to if you're asked. This is important. You understand your rights, as I've said, because apparently we have people in here that's former law enforcement and saying I'm an a-hole for telling you to exercise your rights. So just, I mean, it's great. And, you know, also you can see here that he was assisting the woman, and she states that he was helping her. Okay. So I just want to clarify that. Here we go. And continue to roll screen. Okay. He backs up. He gets out of the street. He's continuing to back out of the street. The ICE agent doesn't like it that he's filming, so he gets people out of the way. Then he goes to help this lady. He reaches down after he got pepper sprayed, goes to help the lady, right? Watch this. Watch this. Sprayed. He's still, after getting sprayed, turning away, not trying to engage, reaches down to help the lady. Okay. And then he gets pistol whipped, his firearm taken from him, and then murdered. All right, so there you go. He's trying to help her up. That's her statement. And you can see that he almost got her up, and then they get him down, continue to whip him. This is law enforcement. This is Nazi Germany if I ever seen it. And then takes firearm. And so this imbecile that isn't got proper gear on or trained doesn't state, hey, I took his firearm, just walks off like a thug and a gangster. Okay. And then moments later, they execute him. Here we go. Pop, 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 pop. I believe 10 rounds was put into the man. Also, no medical attention was administered to him, and no one was allowed to administer medical aid. So, I mean, we have a serious policing issue, and I hate to say policing. I'm going to say law enforcement issue here. So anyway, we have that video, and then I can't hear the audio on my end. Let me see what it was saying here. Hold on just a second, guys. I want to see what you say. He was defending that female that they threw down on the ground. He was a nurse. Even his coworkers said what an excellent human being he was. Absolutely. Yeah. Now, guys, I want to point out to you real quick too. law enforcement have killed Hispanic people and black people for a long time. They've killed a white woman recently that was a single mother, right? Because whatever her sexual orientation's no interest to me at the moment in this conversation. She had children. She didn't have her husband anymore. He's dead. She's playing house with whatever this other person is. They executed her. They executed a nurse that works literally saving veterans' lives in ICU. I mean, he was a white guy. It's open season on everybody. Guys, as I've just pointed out about the duty to inform, okay, this is off the conversation at that moment. 10 rounds is absolutely insane. No, it's not. Knox City, Germany. Let the cops do their job and stay out of the way. Okay. So, guys, just remember, just do not exercise your First and Second Amendment of rights. Okay. Don't be in the streets. Actually, there was even a news reporter that they came out and assaulted. They knew the news reporter was there. They gassed them and assaulted the woman. I seen that video. She wasn't bothering anybody. She even had her tag on. Everybody knew what was up. They seen what was up. Been letting them film for a long time. Then just turned and absolutely assaulted that woman too. These people are absolutely out of hand. And I'm telling you, cowards wear masks. I'm just going to continue to say that. You have always seen my face. If I was on the battlefield, you're going to see my face. This is how thugs operate. Okay. So anyway, moving forward, let me get the last video up and let this one play for you. This one is a law enforcement officer that I have respect for. And he is telling it just like it is, which is great because it is undeniable. Okay, here you go. Let that play. Just let me know if you don't hear the audio playback on that. It don't play for me. But I'm going to let that play all the way through. I appreciate him telling them that, all he's seen was a man exercising his rights and murdered for it, and long and short of this. Keep in mind, this police chief deals with hundreds and hundreds of officers every day. And I also applaud him that none of his officers executed anyone. No audio. Click the unmute. Oh, okay. Thank you, guys. I see the
investigation that ultimately
sorry, we will go back.
That at the time of the shooting, it was legally.
Let me do this. Thank you guys for pointing that out. Sorry, just 1 second. We will re-queue this up and I will unmute that. All right, here we go. Give me just a second. All right, let's try this again. Round two.
Space and heard from federal officials. Is there any evidence that you know of that Pretti was assaulting the federal officers as the Border Patrol chief claims?
Well, I've seen the videos just as thousands of people around the country have, and the videos speak for themselves. I think it's deeply concerning, the things that are being said. This is an individual that was a city resident. It appears that he was present, exercising his First Amendment rights to record law enforcement activity, and also exercising his Second Amendment right.
Hold on, for all those police officers in here that can't handle it. Somebody that is a police chief just told everyone what I just told you, is that he had every right to exercise both those rights, and he did not assault anyone. Keep in mind, the ICE agent provoked him and assaulted him because he was filming. That altercation started because he was filming on the side of the street. I just want to make sure we clarify that it was not him into them, it was them into him. Okay, let's just keep going.
Rights to lawfully be armed in a public space in the city. So I think very obviously there are serious questions that are being raised. And I think the greater issue is, even if there is an investigation that ultimately proves that at the time of the shooting it was legally justified, I don't think that even matters at this point, because there is so much outrage.
Yeah, what he's saying in a nice way is the flashpoint's been hit. And at that point, It's pretty much too far gone because we're executing people in the street. And as he's going to point out here in a minute, is that, none of the police, none of them have killed anybody in the past year policing, and within just a matter of weeks, ICE is already knocking off a ton of people. That is crazy. And yes, it's very clear that the firearm was removed, and he was off out of the way from the videos that I've seen. He was off far enough out of the way of the street that there's a vehicle parked on the side of the street where they were at, and they were there by the edge of that vehicle. So they're not out in the physical street itself. And guys, honestly, the whole street was blocked off anyway. Okay. There's a whole army out there throwing down in the middle of the street. See, we're straining into that. The point we're not paying attention to, and everyone can't get it. Liberals and Democrats that are socialist, and Republicans that are somewhat center, and Republicans that are headed toward fascism. People cannot pay attention. I just don't understand. I just don't understand why we cannot. I guess it's just not given to some to see what's going on here.
Age and concern around what is happening in the city.
What do you mean it doesn't matter at this point? You mean the situation on the ground is already, the impression is left?
People have had enough. This is the third shooting now in less than 3 weeks. The Minneapolis Police Department went the entire year last year recovering about 900 guns from the street, arresting hundreds and hundreds of violent offenders, and we didn't shoot anyone. And now this is the second American citizen that's been killed. It's the third shooting within 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. People have been speaking out, saying that this was going to happen again. And I think everyone is kind of waiting for folks on both sides to come together and just figure this thing out. This is not sustainable. This police department has only 600 police officers. We are stretched incredibly thin. This is taking an enormous toll trying to manage all of this chaos on top of having to be the police department for a major city. It's too much.
From what you have seen in the public space and heard from federal officials, is there any evidence that you know of that Pretti was assaulting the federal officers as the Border Patrol chief claims?
Well, I've seen the videos just as thousands of people.
So shout out to Chief O'Hara, not out here clapping people in the middle of the street and murdering everyone. Shout out to him. Yeah, I warned people about that in the beginning of the video, guys. It's a problem with SIG. I definitely, SIG is definitely not on my menu of firearms to purchase. And look, guys, this is what I'm saying, right? So the dude was a cross-dresser, brainwashed Democrats supporter. As I pointed out in the beginning, everyone's missing the point. The point is, we, as I've clearly shown, and you can go watch tons of the content out here in the news, is that we have individuals on the side of the road filming. We have one of the things that's bothered me is just almost as bad as him being murdered is that the woman is assaulted, just straight up assaulted by that ICE agent. And nobody's really talking about that. Like, that really bothered me. Like, she just took an L. And then this guy's getting roughed up, and as he's getting roughed up, goes to try to offer aid to help the woman, and then is sprayed. They're hosed down. Then he's beat down, drug out in the street, taken a firearm from, and murdered and gunned down, face down in a dirty street in the middle of freezing cold. You have to be a special kind of garbage dirtbag to do that to people. I don't know if you're lacking testicular fortitude. I mean, I don't know if you're just a sad little soul inside and, killing and murdering other people. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is, but I will say this, that the fact that 6 grown men can't even get a man down. Like, that dude looks like he's about the same frame as me. shout out to him. I mean, that 6 grown men can't get a man down and cuff and hold somebody down. That's pretty sad. Like, I mean, these guys. I think a lot of the people. I heard the other day, just some caveat that apparently they're giving massive sign-on bonuses to people to sign up for ICE and previous military. People that's prior military and etc. Is signing up for it. And I was just thinking, imagine how many people that have PTSD, traumas, alcoholism, drug, substance abuse, bad marriages, all this stuff, and they're throwing on their tactical rig again, and they're going out in the streets and they're just beating up on the populace and taking that frustration out. There is a lot of things to be considered that people are not having a conversation about. But what I want to point out is that I've shared with you my assessment. But what needs to be really taken at the core, the most important thing to take away from this conversation is 2 things. Number one, it's only going to get worse from here. Now, I personally, if I was seeing how this was going and seeing how this administration is and knowing how evil they are, what I would probably see coming is that I wouldn't be surprised if you don't have a deep state event where a bunch of ICE agents are offed by the government itself just to create a massive civil war and uprising within this country to create an authoritarian body within this country very soon. It wouldn't surprise me. I feel like this is going to spill over well into spring, and it is going to be a very violent summer here in America. I don't know. It's gonna probably be ugly, but the most important thing on top of that is that we need to understand that, like I've said in the beginning, this country's under judgment. That America's time is spent. It has this country was built on the death and murder of indigenous people. It is being built on the backs of the so-called black man, which is many of them are the descendants of Abraham and the true Hebrew Israelites. And the Most High looks at Israel as the apple of his eye, and there's going to be retribution upon this country, not to mention 7 trumpets of Revelation to come here soon. And, it's going to be bad. And the only hope we have is the kingdom of the Most High and his son coming back very soon. That's it, because this country's spent. We are in a spiral. This is probably the first shots fired of the second American Civil War, possibly. Now, I thought that good lady getting shot the other day might spiral out of control, and then it calmed down. This one, I don't think there will be a calm. Gun right activist, constitutionalist as myself, I am on high alert, because this can only get worse from here, because you have literally Border Patrol main guy saying that if you carry a firearm in the street, you're a criminal. You have the sovereign over the United States of America, elected by the people, saying that you're a criminal. If you're carrying a firearm, it's getting ugly out here, folks. And I tell you, they is some very serious things to consider. As a person of the nations that's come to the truth and loves the Most High, I just hope that I can be counted worthy to enter into the kingdom, because the way things are going to get here, I'm going to tell you, the New World Order system is definitely coming in at light speed. And this is just like the tip of the iceberg. I don't think many people understand that, and it can resonate. I just don't think that it's come to the mind yet just how far gone it is. And the worst thing that I would say for both parties is that, because I'm libertarian, I'm a minority, but for people that's liberal, you're going to be punished now by this administration because they hate you. And people that are MAGA and red hatters and all this crazy stuff, I've already seen them doing mental gymnastics to going from standing for the Second Amendment and freedom of speech to now people need to be silenced and people need to be having their firearms taken away, and you shouldn't have a firearm in the street, and you shouldn't have a firearm on your person, and blah, 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 and send the Gestapo to everybody's house and the SS and when your neighbors disappear in the night, and the people that witnessed it, some people getting hauled off recently and got murdered, then they are deporting people that seen that so that they don't have witnesses for that. That was out in the news. I mean, guys, it's a lot going on, and I'm telling you, authoritarian state is here. So, you know, it's crazy. So all I can tell you is just be mindful, protect yourself, try your very best not to break the laws, but be very mindful of the laws so you know how to stand up for your rights, because I'm going to tell you, everyone is about to be put on the testing block, and there is going to be a massive upheaval in this country, because I imagine that this situation will play out again, and probably again after that. And at some point, there is going to be a tipping point, and we are on the boiler. So, guys, stay safe out there. As always, till we see you again here at Seven Trumpets Prepper Channel. Hope the Most High Yah Baruch and keep you, make his face shine upon you, show you favor, and give you shalom, my friends, in Yahushua. Love y'all. Have a great night. Stay safe.